Meet Chineri, the leader of the girl crew. Chineri, Bimbo, and Ene. They've always been friends, right from year one. The moment they met themselves in the same room, they clicked together and they've always stood by one another. Friends decided to stick to one another to the very end of life, being that they all knew their secrets. They knew everything that went down between themselves. But after that day, Chineri sat down in her closet and she told herself, if Ebuka actually sleeps around, I really hope he doesn't sleep with any of my friends, because if he does, he's already breaking a part of me. I really hope he doesn't go to the extent of misbehaving with a friend of mine. Unknown to Chineri, she wasn't the only person having drama in her home. Ebuka being a cheat was one of the things that was going to trouble her. For Bimbo, who is the perfect wife, Bimbo, who is everything and more, was seeing hell had fury in her home. Femi, who pretends to be a very nice man, wasn't even nice, because after the birth of the twins, after the twins started growing, Femi had sat Bimbo down one day and told Bimbo, you earn a whole lot, so I see no reason why you're not helping in our home. Bimbo was trying to understand what Femi was saying. What do you mean? Femi earns a whole lot as an engineer. She was working in Femi's father's audit firm, which was still paying Femi for the customers he bring. So why is Femi asking her to contribute to the well-being of the family? Femi told her, I'm not asking much of you. My dad pays you very well. So things should be splitted in the house. What are you using your money to do? You just sit down and get yourself luxurious bags. You're out there competing with your friend who is not competing with you. It's high time you start contributing to this family. And now I am making it known to you that if we need 1 million for a month, I am bringing 500,000. You are bringing 500,000. That is the way we are going to run our home. This was an ultimatum Femi made. So Bimbo had to follow the instruction from her husband. Obviously, Femi was good at rubbing it on her face that she was from a poor background and they couldn't afford anything. He was fond of doing it. So Bimbo gradually respected herself and sticked to what Femi said. Whenever she receives her salary, she brings out a certain amount for the house. And this certain amount she was bringing was exactly the same amount Femi was bringing. So there was nothing that could make her have much money. After bringing this certain amount, she still had to send money home. So she was left with not much. Yes, she had gotten a lot of luxurious bags and shoes and whatsoever. But she wasn't comfortable with it, but at the same time she couldn't complain, because if she does, Femi was going to give it to her hot and spicy. She didn't even know what to say. She was losing her mind. She was losing her sanity. But Femi wasn't bothered. In fact, Femi had eyes on his father's secretary. Femi always admired his father's secretary whenever he comes to the audit firm. And he started gradually making advances towards her. From giving her small compliments to tipping her, all those things he was doing, he didn't see it as something that was wrong. In his heart, he felt that the only reason he had not laid with his father's secretary, Becky, was because he was giving his wife respect. The fact that she was a devoted wife, the fact that whenever she closes from work, she runs home. She had never made Femi bother about the kids. Even while the kids were sick, Bimbo does the running up and down. From taking them to the hospital, to not sleeping at night, making sure their temperature was okay, whereas Femi comes back, eats his meal, and sleep off. All he does is blow them goodnight kiss. So that's the only reason he had not yet laid with his father's secretary, Becky. Ene was already tired of her husband. The fact that he said he was going to work on his performance on bed and he has not done anything was making any angry. Not because she wasn't understanding, but the fact that Oche had now made it look like she was the issue. Oche's family has a history of hypertension. So Oche was not even ready to take any drug that was going to help to stimulate him on bed. But Ene tried to talk to him that you don't have to take any strong aphrodisiac. You could talk to a doctor. All you need is a treatment. But the moment Ene made the statement, Oche turned the table around and called her a sex addict, stating that she's a Christian, so she should act as one. What does she mean by he's not satisfying her on bed? What is the meaning of that? If he's not good, how come he was able to bring forth a child? But Ene tried to talk sense to Oche, stating that it's not the fact that you can get a lady pregnant. It's me, what I want, how I feel. Oche told her to go and pray and fast for 14 days, that she needed deliverance. He even went as far as telling her that her friends are the one making her to see life that way. Unknown to him, Ene had never, ever said a thing to her friends. She always talked about work, but Oche wasn't willing to listen to whatever she had to say. He had already made up his mind that his wife was the one that was losing her sense, her sanity, in the name of looking for pleasure. So with the passing days, Ene made up her mind that if Oche wasn't ready to walk towards what she was asking of him to, that she was not going to live with him. Whenever he comes back from work and wants to touch her, she was not going to accept. Instead, she was going to go to her daughter's room, Doshima, and sleep. Since Oche wasn't ready to listen, then she was going to do it her own way. It's another Friday, and the girls were hanging out. While conversing, Chinyere wasn't that bright, but nevertheless, no one can get through Chinyere because she knew how to play her cards well. She knew how to do what she wanted to do. So she quickly told the friends, "Hi girls," and they were like, "How are you?" And Chinyere looked at them and said, "Guess what?" And they were like, "What? Any good news? Any big maga? Any new clients?" Chinyere said, "Not all those things. My husband is turning 35 and I want to celebrate his birthday in our villa. And I want you to come with your husbands." Bimbo looked at her and said, "Why should we come with our husbands?" Chinyere said, "What now? It's just a weekend getaway. We are friends." And she turned and looked at Ene. Oche knows Ebuka, obviously, so he's not going to have a big deal with it. It's just Femi now. Because Femi obviously don't know anything about my husband. Can't you talk to him? Just let's hang out. People said, "Okay, I'll think about it before telling it to him." And I looked at Chinyere and said, "Chinyere, are you not ready to give birth to a child?" Chinyere smiled and said, "Ene. So you think that marriage is all about giving birth to children?" It's not. As you can see, I am a trophy wife. I live and die the way I want. And you see this child you're asking of? My husband has never asked me for it. You're still young. So why are we in a hurry? Is it because he's turning 35? Obviously, I can still give birth in 2 years' time. And even if we want to have kids, we just want to have 2. So we can enjoy our life now and have the 2 later. I can even be like Bimbo and have twins. So what's the big deal? And I didn't know what to say. Obviously, her husband had not forced her. She's enjoying her life. And Chinyere said, "My dear, if my husband wants me to give birth, he knows what to do. Obviously, he knows how to handle me there now. So he knows how to do it for me to get pregnant. But he's not willing to. So let's leave it that way. He's not even pushing for it." And he pinched herself. There she was, with Oche, who thinks that the sole reason of getting married is to give birth to a child, not even to satisfy his wife on bed. She nodded and did not say anything. So Chinyere gave the details about her husband's 35 years birthday, the way she was organizing it. She didn't need their help, she just needed their presence. She already had everything in place. This was the first time she was even using her personal money to do anything. It has always been her husband's money. The girls agreed that they were going to talk to their spouse about it and give feedback to Chinyere. When Ene told Oche, Oche agreed, being that he knows Ebuka. Ebuka is one of his clients in the bank, and Ebuka had one of the biggest accounts in the bank. So he already knew Ebuka, even before Ebuka got married to Chinere. Whereas for Bimbo, when she told her darling husband Femi, Femi did not accept. He quickly told her, you see, your friend now wants to throw wealth where it's not needed. Which one is someone celebrating 35 years birthday in villa and all those stuff? Is he the first person to turn 35? Won't I also be turning 35 soon? Bimbo looked at her husband and said, are you jealous or something? She did not ask you to come with anything. She just needed our presence. As friends, we've always been there for one another. Obviously, you knew that Chinere slept in this house with me when I gave birth to the twin. She left her husband's house and stayed here because no one was able to come. You refused my mom coming. You called her a stinking thing. Chinere had to stay here and take care of the twin with me. And now you can't go for her husband's celebration. Femi, it will be recorded for you. You think you can choose to behave the way you want when it comes to other people's life? How can she do good for you and you want to pay her with evil? How many days? Just 3 good days. Femi, don't behave like this. She's our friend. Okay, she's not your friend, but she's my friend. And she has always stood for me when I need her. Femi said, okay, no problem. I'll think about it. When I do, I'll give you a response. Bimbo just made up her mind that she was going to pack her bags. Whenever Femi decides, he can pack his own bag because she was going to go for this birthday. So 2 days after Femi and Bimbo had already spoken about Chinere's husband's birthday party, Femi called her attention and asked her, Bimbo, if we decide to go for this birthday party, who is going to stay with our kids? Bimbo said, I can take them to my mom's place or your mom's place. Femi looked at her and said, for your mom's place, that's a no-go area. For my mom's place, you know my mom is not very good with kids. So what do you intend doing? Bimbo quickly told him, Femi, please, if your mom is not good with kids, then I'm going to send the maid with them. However, the maid has always been the one helping me out with them. It's just 3 days. Your mom will just oversee the maid, and that's just it. Femi looked at her and said, okay, I am accepting to go for this because of you. Aside that, I don't know anything about your friends. I don't even know Oche. I don't know Ebuka. Neither do I know any of your friends. The only person I know is Chinere because she stayed in our house. Bimbo looked at him and told him, no problem. Thank you for accepting to go with me. A few days down the line, all couples had accepted to go for the birthday. While Ene was packing her bag, Oche looked at her and asked, where are you taking that thing to, that bikini? Ene said, we are going to swim. Oche said, what? Why must you wear bikini? Can't you get those swimming trunks that professional swimmers wear? Ene looked at her husband. What do you mean? I should go and wrap myself that way. Ene said, okay, no problem. I'll get it. She did not want to argue. She didn't want anything that was going to make Dushima hear her exchanging words with her father. She just told Oche, no problem, I will get it. She removed the bikini. But when Oche was not around, she returned the bikini into her box. And when everybody had arrived at Chinere's villa, they greeted themselves, took a glass of champagne. Chinere had asked everyone to join them in the pool. Ene wore her beautiful bikini, obviously. And Ene has a very beautiful, nice shape. Very, very beautiful one at that. Oche wasn't happy with it. He wasn't at all in any way. He was really offended with her. But he didn't want to show it outside. He was that man that knew how to comport himself. After they finished swimming, having fun, the first day went on smooth and fine. The second day, being Saturday, was Ebuka's birthday. They had barbecue. They did so many games that Chinere had planned. Everything was going on well. People gave Ebuka gifts, ranging from perfumes to belts to luxurious wristwatch from Bimbo. Beautiful gifts left, right, center. That evening, while everyone had retired to bed, Ene came out towards the swimming pool side. She sat down. She was lost in thoughts. Did she actually get married to the wrong man? How come Oche is not thinking about what she said? How come for the past 3 months, she had not laid with Oche and Oche is not even bothered? Is Oche seeing someone outside? Why is he making it look like as if she was the issue, rather than working on himself? At least he would have even made an attempt to see a doctor. While she was lost in thought, Ebuka had come out from his room. He grabbed a glass of whiskey and walked towards the poolside. Lo and behold, Ene was sitting there. And they started talking. So why did they talking? Ebuka asked her, "What's troubling you?" Ene looked at him, not saying anything much. And all of a sudden, she started crying. So Ebuka drew closer to Ene and tried to wipe her tears. Ene looked at him closely and gave him a kiss. Ebuka could not hold himself back. Obviously, he was looking at the very beautiful curvy damsel. Right in the pool, he laid with Ene. And while they were at it, Chinyere woke up and did not see her husband. She wanted to know where her husband was. So Chinyere had witnessed Ebuka laying with her good friend Ene. When they were done, Ebuka felt a bit bad about it, but the deed had already been done. He took a quick swim and went to his room. Ene did not really feel bad about it. She took a swim and went to the room. But while she was going to the room, she told herself, "Truly, he's actually good, like my friend says. Now I've had a taste of him, so all her brag will not mean anything to me. I just wish I could have more." But the moment she entered the room and laid on the bed, Oche tried to touch her. She removed his hand quickly. And Oche asked her, "Babe, where are you coming from?" She looked at him and said, "I just went out to comb my head, so I took a quick swim." But Oche perceived the strong fragrance. Obviously, the pool does not vomit perfume on people's body. He knew something was fishy. And he was ready to get to the bottom of it. Hello! Stay tuned for Patrick. Don't miss out on these weekly beautiful folktales.